people had a birthday while we were here? Probably quite a few. 10 days is kind of statistically likely someone will have had a birthday. But anyway, that's good. Lehar was one of them. Okay, so this is the end. Are you happy, sad, neutral? Whatever. So anyway, so we're just going to round up a little bit and kind of get some of the takeaway messages. Someone asked about whether we can summarize what we were talking about. Maybe we can summarize a little bit and see what the kind of main takeaway is from all of this. So we'll see what happens. There's one sutta. Did you know that? There's one sutta we didn't do. Did you see that? Yeah. In Udaya, person called Uday. Uday means to arise. So it must have been the arising one. I'm not sure what that is supposed to mean exactly, but that's the name of this person. So we have a quick look at that, then summarize a bit, and then kind of take the takeaway, take home, takeaway message, or whatever it is, wherever you're going next to. And see what we can do it. Missing in action. Finally coming. Okay, Venerable. I was just saying a little bit about what maybe we should do now. Is anything? Would you like to start with anything? Get going? Are you sure? Yeah. Okay. Okay. So you just kind of chime in whenever you want to chime in. Whenever you want to take over, just take over. Because so let's have a very quick look at this Udaya Sutta. I'm not going to go into any detail, obviously, but just have a look at. There's a couple of things in there which are not really found anywhere else. So we have, this is on page 52, 53, the questions of Udaya, the 13th person. And a lot of this we have already dealt with, and so we can deal with it, we can have a quick look at it now. So this is what he says, to the meditator, desireless, said Venerable Udaya, speaking to the Buddha, who has completed the task, is free of defilements, who has gone beyond all things. I have come with a question. Tell me the liberation by perfect knowledge, the breaking up of ignorance. The giving up, replied the Buddha, of both sensual desire and displeasure, the dispelling of dullness and the prevention of remorse. You can see the kind of 5 hindrances there. This is, I think, maybe the only place where you get 4 out of the 5 hindrances in this sequence of suttas, and we have seen doubt elsewhere, so they're all touched upon. And then we go straight into deep things, pure equanimity and mindfulness preceded by investigation of principles. This, I declare, is the liberation by perfect knowledge, the breaking up of ignorance. So, pure equanimity and mindfulness, upekka sati sangsuddhang, this is usually a reference to the 4th jhana state. Preceded by investigation of principles. So, investigation of principles, Dhamma Vicaya, and this is usually one of the factors of awakening, one of the sambojjhangas. And so what you're seeing here is how that investigation of principles leads to the 4th jhana. That's essentially what you're seeing there. So you investigate things. What are the things that you investigate? Well, you investigate the 5 hindrances. These are some of the most important things to investigate, so you can abandon them. You investigate the 7 factors of awakening themselves, because you want to purify your mind through those principles. And through that investigation, gradually, it takes you to the 4th jhana. And then very interesting, this, I declare, is the liberation by perfect knowledge. It's kind of strange. You think that perfect knowledge came after the 4th jhana. It wasn't really it. But the point is that if you get to this point in the practice, it means that you already have very profound knowledge. Otherwise, you wouldn't get there. Also, it means you have completed the Noble Eightfold Path, because the 4th jhana is the very end of the path. And by completing it, in a sense, you have arrived at perfect knowledge. There's nothing much more to be done now, except for allowing the information, the understanding you have to penetrate properly. And then the penny drops, or the cent drops, what is it in Australia? Cents and dollars? I don't even know that. I've been a monastic my entire life in Australia. Okay, I heard something about Australian dollars, but you know how it goes. So that is so that's kind of interesting. Yeah, and this is one of those conundrums in the Dhamma, is that the Noble Eightfold Path always ends with samadhi. It doesn't end with insight, which is very fascinating. And it says something about the importance of samadhi and how insight arises. And then Uddaya says, what fetters the world? How does it travel about? With the giving up of what is extinguishment spoken of? Delight fetters the world. It travels about by means of thought. With the giving up of craving, extinguishment is spoken of. So delight fetters the world. Yeah, we have. So be careful. We have one person here called Delight. Yeah, so be careful with that name. Don't live up to your name, if you know what I mean. So delight is here just a synonym for craving. Yeah, that's why it fetters the world. It ties you to samsaric existence. It travels about by means of thought. It's kind of interesting. Yeah, thought is the one that drives our movement in the world. If you don't think, it means you are in samadhi. You don't go anywhere. You sit still. You come to the end of the retreat and you just remain at Jhana Grove. Yeah, for as long as whatever. So you travels about by thought. Thought is what takes us around, both in the imagination, but ultimately also in reality, because it drives our movement all the time. And stillness is the opposite of that. And so all of this movement comes from the thinking mind ultimately, and that's why thought is not only a nuisance, it is part of the dukkha of existence. For one living mindfully, how does consciousness cease? We have come to ask you, worthy sir, let us hear what you say. He's asking about the cessation of consciousness. These Brahmins were pretty amazing. And how many people ask that kind of question in the world? Not taking pleasure in feeling, internally and externally, for one living mindfully thus, that's how consciousness ceases. Feeling is in many ways, the most important thing in life. Feeling is the kind of basis upon which we do anything. Yeah? It drives all our actions, drives all our thoughts. We want good feelings, we want to avoid the bad feelings. We don't understand the neutral feelings. Yeah? And so this feeling is kind of the critical thing that is a driver of life. Without feeling, you wouldn't be doing anything, because nothing would have meaning. Feeling is what gives meaning, purpose, a sense of reality to things. So if you understand feelings properly, fully, that is equivalent to enlightenment itself, because you have understood the driver, the thing behind life, behind why we are here. Why are we meditators? Because again, also because of feeling, hopefully. Yeah, it makes you feel good, and that's probably the idea here. But ultimately, we have to go beyond that. So that is the kind of final message here from Uddaya. Understand feeling, and you do that by the gradual movement forward on the Noble Eightfold Path, ending up culminating in the deep samadhis. So that is everything, I believe. That is the 16th of the 16. Have we forgotten anyone? When everything is done? Yeah. I hope so. Okay, we are not sure, but we think so. We believe that we have done everything. So, would you like to add anything? Take your microphone. Oh. Yeah.
Not yet. You can continue.
I can continue. Okay. So that is what this is about. Now, one of the other things that I haven't really mentioned is that at the end of all the 16 students, there's like a summary here. Yeah, and I thought it would be nice to read out this summary as well, because it says something about how they were thinking about these verses. I did read a little bit about Pingya and what Pingya was doing at the end of all of this, but there's also another summary verse. So let's see if I can find this. So this is the summary verses. And this is called the homage to the way to the far shore. Yeah, it's like it's almost like you should respect these verses in their own right, a homage to these verses. So, and this is what it says, it's just a very simple kind of honoring of these verses. And this is how they go. This was obviously written down or composed sometime after the actual question and answer sessions to kind of summarize and bring everything together. So this was said by the Buddha was staying in the land of the Magadhans at the Pasanaka shrine. When requested by the 16 Brahmin devotees, he answered their questions one by one. If you understand the meaning and the teaching of each of these questions and practice in line with the teaching, you may go right to the far shore of old age and death. Yeah, this is what you just have to practice according to these teachings, and you will go to the far shore. Sounds easy, doesn't it? Maybe not, I'm not sure. These teachings are said to lead to the far shore, which is why the name of this exposition of the teaching is the way to the far shore. Ajita, Tisameteya, Punaka, Metagu, Dotaka, Upasiva, Nanda, and then Hemaka, both Todeya and Kappa and Jatukani, the astute, Bhadravuda and Udaya, and the Brahmin Pusala, Mogaraja, the intelligent. Mogaraja the intelligent. His name means fool, but his epithet is the intelligent. He's intelligent.
About delusion, so he's overcome delusion.
He's intelligent about delusion, right? Okay. Okay. Yeah. Maybe that's the point. Yeah. And Pingya, the great seer, they approached the Buddha, the seer of consummate conduct, asking their subtle questions. They came to the most excellent Buddha. The Buddha answered their questions in accordance with truth. The sage satisfied the Brahmins with his answers to their questions. Those who were satisfied by the clear-eyed one, the Buddha, the kinsman of the sun, led the spiritual life in his presence, the one of such outstanding wisdom. So you get the kind of follow-up. Yeah, they carried on, they led the spiritual life in the presence of the Buddha. And if you practice in accordance with each of these questions as taught by the Buddha, you will go from the near shore to the far. Developing the supreme path, you go from the near shore to the far. This path is for going to the far shore. That is why it is called the way to the far shore. So there you are, that's the summary verses. So what does all of this mean? And what do we have to do now? What are some of the takeaway messages? I'm not going to talk about every individual sutta because it's too much, but I'm going to give some idea of the general outlook, what all of this refers to, and how we can, one way of thinking about this. I'm not going to pretend that what I say is the ultimate way or anything like that. It's just my way of thinking here. And you can take away whatever message appeals to you and you think is important for yourself. But one of the things that kind of stand out is the nature of these Brahmin students. They were very mature, they were really sincere seekers of the spiritual path. They had gone a long way in the spiritual practice. I know sometimes as Buddhist, and sometimes I fall into this trap myself of kind of saying things about other religions which may not be quite fair. Yeah, I always like to make a bit of fun of Christianity. That's my nature, because I grew up in a society that is essentially, it's kind of post-Christian. I wouldn't say Norway is a Christian society anymore. It's kind of given up on a lot of the religion, but it's still, those values are still there. It's kind of ingrained into society. And so I kind of do that. But I realize I should be careful with that, because sometimes there are seekers in these other religions who are very sincere, who have gone a long way, should be admired for their conduct and for their insight and for their meditation practice. And these Brahmin students here are of that kind. They had gone basically all the way to the end of the path from a Buddhist point of view in terms of the meditation practice. There was only a little bit that was missing, and that was the right view. Otherwise, they had gone a long, long way. And they were kind of ready to see things differently as well. They were still questioning. They had open minds. And so we should remember that when it comes to people of other religions or teachings. Sometimes they can be a very high quality people. Sometimes they can be more high quality than Buddhists. Yeah, you meet some Buddhists and think, wow, are they Buddhist or are they not? What are they doing? How are they thinking about this? Yeah, they're not really living up to the standards of Buddhism or anything like that or whatever. So it's very impressive to see. And this is, I think, to me, the first kind of takeaway message. Respect everyone. We shouldn't be too proud as Buddhists to think that we are super special or not. Okay, once you are enlightened, then you can think you are super special. But that kind of goes against enlightenment, right? You don't think that anymore. So it kind of undercuts the whole thing. And this is one of the things that is so interesting about enlightenment, is that you don't think in those terms anymore. Even though from a kind of outside view, you are very special. From an inner view, you are nothing at all. You're just this set of five khandhas moving around in the world, teaching the Dhamma to others and blissing out in deep samadhi. But you don't have that sense of self. Is completely gone. You understand how everything is conditioned. So how can you feel anything special? You became an arahant because of cause and conditions, not because of you. So how can you kind of take any pride in that? You can't. It's impossible. So this is the first thing, yeah? So respecting everyone in the world, not only respecting our fellow Buddhists. Obviously, the Buddha has a special place in things, but just as a general way of thinking here. The second thing which comes out of these suttas is kind of the importance of deep samadhi. Yeah, here are these Brahmins, they have gone so far on this path. Many of them seem to have achieved the sphere of nothingness, the akinchana yatana, which is kind of extraordinary. They have done that through other spiritual practices. It shows you that India at that time, as it is today, was a very spiritual place where people practiced these things. They were on the verge of breaking through. They were very, very close. They're just missing a little bit in that magic sauce that creates the insight into the nature of reality, or the insight into the nature of a human being. And so they had already gone a long way. There's something special about societies that encourage that kind of spiritual practice. One of those weird things that I always found in the suttas, it says that Buddhas always arise in Jambudvipa. Jambudvipa is India. And I always thought, this is very kind of weird, always arise in India. What do you mean arise in India? This sounds very sort of kind of a bit self-centered. Yeah, it arises always in our country. That's where the Buddha arises, doesn't go anywhere else. And anyway, if it's a different universe, how can you talk about India anyway? Different universe, you don't have, surely it doesn't look, these planets don't look exactly the same from one universe to the next one. How can you talk about India? But then I thought, actually, maybe it just refers to a particular kind of culture. The Indian culture, the Indian way of thinking, something like that is required for awakening to happen. This idea of a respect for monastics, where you support people who are practicing the spiritual path, where everyone is interested in spirituality, a place where people are already practicing deep spirituality, gone as far as possible. And here we see what that means. It means the deepest kind of samadhi. This is what we are seeing here. So India is that kind of society which has those qualities, that is close to awakening already. And so it only takes that tiny little bit extra, and then awakening happens. So I think that is what is meant by the idea of India is always the place where the Buddhas arise. It's that society, it's those cultural components that are found there, and maybe not usually found in the world. What is the chance of a modern Buddha arising in Perth? It's pretty slim, I would say. I'm not sure if kind of modern Australian society is even remotely suited for the rising of a Buddha, or indeed most parts of the world these days. Even India today probably isn't as, nowhere near as good as it was 2,500 years ago. So the conditions arise very rarely. And because the conditions arise rarely, that is one of the reasons why Buddhas themselves arise very rarely in the world there. Yeah? And so these are kind of some of the takeaways from all of this. But maybe the most, kind of to me, the most profound and the most important takeaway of all is the idea of the importance of right view. How that is so incredibly significant, and how you can bliss out, you can achieve the deepest things that the human mind can possibly achieve in the world. Really, really profound things. And things where you feel that you have touched the meaning of life itself, you have found the unity with the universe, the highest kind of bliss, you know. How can there be any more than that? How can you go to the sphere of nothingness and have achieved this incredible state of mind? How can that not be the end? It seems impossible. Of course that is the end. Of course, this is it. Yeah? It is so easy to be deluded by these things. It is like 99.99% of people who achieve these things will take that as the ultimate truth, because it is so incredibly attractive and such beautiful qualities. I mean, 99.99% of people don't get to those states, and then those who do, again, another tiny percentage are actually able to go even further. So you can see how tricky this is, and how actually it's very, very profound. And sometimes we don't really fully appreciate how profound this is. Yeah, it is super duper profound. And so that right view is the final thing. That right view is this understanding that any kind of attachment in the world, any kind of holding on to anything as permanent, as real, as sufficient in itself is dangerous. You need to go beyond that. That is kind of the ultimate right view. And that is a very difficult kind of right view, because it goes against our conditioning in such a profound way. Our conditioning is to want something to be there. I want to be there to enjoy awakening. Yeah, I want to be present with these things. But already, if that's what you want, you're asking for dukkha. That is what is so hard to understand. You're asking for suffering the moment you're asking for that. And so we don't understand suffering. And so we have to come from a degree of faith in the Buddha to kind of get us to that point. The importance of right view, yeah? And it always kind of comes back to that in the Dhamma. Whenever you teach anything in the Dhamma, you teach about meditation, you teach about virtue, about generosity, all of these things are upheld by the idea of right view. All of this is founded on right view. Right view is what makes these things possible. This does not mean that you have to be a Buddhist to be kind. It doesn't mean you have to be a Buddhist to be generous, because other religions also have right view to some extent, but it just means that right view is what ultimately underlies all of the Buddhist path. And because of that, this is one of the things we should always focus on. How to have more right view, using right view in the right way. Having right view. This is what it kind of comes down to. And that right view, when it comes to how you daily practice and how you think about the world, means coming back to the teaching of the Buddha. Coming back to this beautiful kind of brainwashing. Because it is a kind of brainwashing. When you understand the idea of non-self, you understand that everything is brainwashing. There is no way to not be brainwashed. These days, some people, they call themselves free thinkers. That's just conceit, free thinking. There's no free thinking. There's only conditioned thinking. So people say, I'm not the Buddhist, I'm a free thinker. I say, no, you're not. There's no way you're a free thinker. You're just conditioned by something else. That's the only difference. So we need brainwashing. Brainwashing is good. as long as it is good brainwashing. Choose your brainwashing wisely. That's kind of what I want to put it. And that brainwashing gradually, if it is a good one, it makes you a better person. It makes you more happy here. It makes you more at ease in the world. It makes you have all of these good qualities more, because the brainwashing is good. So come back to the brainwashing. And that can mean read the suttas a little bit. It can mean being inspired by what the Buddha is saying. However, it does not have to mean that. I know that for many people it is quite hard to read the suttas. They don't really feel inspired. They don't feel they can engage properly with the content because it seems too ancient or too foreign for them or too difficult. And that's fine. I'm not saying that you have to read the suttas. If you find it boring or uninteresting or whatever, that's okay. But then get your right view somewhere else. Get it by listening to Ajahn Brahmali, get it by coming to these retreats, and listen to theirs. But make sure that you have a source of Dhamma that supports you and that makes the path work for you. Don't forget that. It's so easy to lose your way in the world. The conditioning is so strong to go in a different direction. The world is so, everyone else is thinking differently from you. After a while, you get trapped by that. It's like this flood. When we're talking about the Oga in the suttas, with flood of the world, and you get trapped in that flood, even if you think you are strong. Remember, you are not very strong. Remember, one of the consequences of non-self is that you will be conditioned by that world. You may feel that I can stand my ground, but that's just conceit. You cannot really stand your ground. Your ability to stand your ground will depend on your conditioning. And only if you have fully seen the Dhamma, only if you are a stream enterer, will you be able to stand your ground properly. Otherwise, you will be trapped by these things. And so that's why you need to come back to right view. Again and again and again. Allow yourself to be inspired. Allow your view to be corrected. So you can walk more on the right path. That is what it comes down to. This is the source of all of this, is right view. And then, once you have that right view, once that is in place, once that is being strengthened continually, because it is a matter of always strengthening it, always making it more clear, then things on the path start to fall into place. Because from right view comes the right intention, the right thinking, the right way of relating to the world. We relate to the world in a different way. We relate to people in a different way. We start to see them no longer as solid selves, selves that are sometimes friendly, sometimes not towards us. We see them instead, like we see ourselves, as these blobs of suffering, walking around in the world, trying to find the way forward, trying to find a way out of this predicament that we are in. That is kind of what we start to see others like that. And when you see that, how can you not have compassion for the world? Even though people are stupid and they are silly and they get angry and they do bad things, they do it because they are blind. How can we be angry with people in the world when they are blind? They don't know what they're doing. They want to be happy. They're doing things that are detrimental to their own happiness without understanding it. They think they're doing what is right. They think that being angry and being foolish is the right thing in the world. Starting wars is a good idea. That's what they think. Because they don't understand. How can we be angry with people after seeing non-self, understanding that we are conditioned in this way? No, if you take on board these teachings properly, if you allow these very simple ideas, they're very simple ideas, if you allow them to wash over you, to brainwash you, to kind of penetrate it within, even if you may not know that this is true, you have enough confidence and faith in the Buddha to allow, to use that kind of reflection. Then gradually you change, slowly, 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 like the supertanker going forward at full speed. Slowly, slowly, slowly you move around. The momentum from the past is enormous, but even that momentum can be changed over time if you are patient and you keep on doing it. The only way you can be absolutely sure nothing is going to happen is if you stop. But if you keep on going, gradually, 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 you become a different person. And that different person is a delightful person. You feel better about yourself. You feel more confident, you feel more independent, you feel more resilient, you feel more happy, you feel more equanimous in the world. You have more metta, more compassion, more understanding, more wisdom, more energy, more mindfulness, more ability to investigate what is going on. All of these good qualities arise out of this. So just gradually, slowly, 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 right view, more right view, reflecting on it. How does it relate to your life? And gradually you become this new person that is far better, far superior to what you were before in terms of all of these good qualities. So that is really all you have to do. Yeah, this is kind of how you should think about things, and this is the main thing that I would suggest that you focus on. And then with that right view, everything else tends to follow along as a consequence. So, Venerable Karunika, would you like to say something?
Okay, I'd like to say some very practical things from where we are right now, the struggles, because it's very inspiring and we are very inspired to do this when we go through something like this, especially at a retreat when our minds are very good and nice and everything is conditioned. So right now the reality is different to what it's going to be when you go home in another week or two. Things change all the time, right? So how do we hold this in our heart? Because this is important, right? Because this is what you get motivated and then you can lose. So the way to success is perseverance and persistence and perseverance, right? So taking that little step. Don't think about taking big strides and doing this long journey when you are ready and when you have time and when you have organized everything. Wait until you organize your life to do this. Well, you would probably die before that. So, guaranteed, I think. So because of that, try and do the one little step that you can take forward today. What is it? Can you smile at somebody genuinely? Can you just ask somebody, how are you today? And mean it, not just in a normal way, just really, with your body language, just really mean it, show your care. Not too hard to do, you don't need so much money to do these kinds of stuff. Be kind to yourself, like small little changes in your habits. But if you continue on, they build up to very big things changing your life. So small things are not so hard to do, right? Small things are easy. It's a very small thing to do. So I just also say, self-care is really important. Very many people ignore themselves, especially when you're still a little bit able. You think, I can push myself and do. This is not a good thing because because people think I can. They remember how they were when they were 20, even when they're 50 and 60. They still try to be like the 20-year-old doing the things, but everybody else can see the horns going up, teeth coming down as you try to struggle and push through, because it's difficult now. We have to acknowledge we are also getting old. Our capacity may not be the same. And when we are tired and exhausted, what do you expect? Yeah? So I can't say this enough, so I'm repeating myself because this has to really go inside of us if we are in the position of caring for oneself and others. We really need to take care of our well-being first. Otherwise, we are not really caring. We are actually giving more stress and difficulty to people around us when we are not in a good state. So not to also feel guilty, because the other thing is people feel quite guilty to do their practice, to have time for themselves, even have a spa for themselves if their body may need it. They say, oh, not me, no. But they might give that $250 to their friend to go and have a spa. You need it, but you want to do it. But sometimes it's what you may need it, right? I'm not asking you to indulge all the time, but if you need it, do it because it is necessary. Because if you don't do these things, also not only it is hard to do these simple things, spiritual path is actually very simple. The result is profound. What you need to do is very simple. But we struggle to do the simple thing just because we are tired, we are not ready, we are mentally, physically not taking care of ourselves. We take on board a lot of things in life. So know that. And I always remember this is a very beautiful simile. When you're on the aircraft, when the air pressure drops, who should put the mask first? Oneself, right? Not your children. That's the same thing, that's the same idea. If you don't take care of yourself, you can't take care of others. And if you die, all your projects, all everything else also come to an end, right, if you can't function. So always remember that, not to feel guilty. And then the power of the small little things, small changes that you do that go a very far into progressing. And the other thing I realize with people is unless you are all like meditating regularly, for the people who are not meditating regularly and getting joy states, it's not only about just sitting, but if you are getting joy states in meditation, then no problem. But for anybody who is not meditating regularly and getting into joy states, you need to find things that bring joy to your life. Because it's not sometimes necessarily easy. Like on a retreat, it's easier to get into deeper meditation and into joy states. But in day-to-day life, sometimes it happens. You get surprised. Wow, I had a good sit unexpectedly. It can happen, but sometimes it may not. So you need to also have few things, not just your work and chores, and then that's when people sort of get a little bit grumpy. So you need to have few things that brings joy to your heart. But wholesome ways, not scrolling through the screens and things like that, they actually drain you. But instead, few other things. Enjoying nature is perfectly okay. Like if you read actually, I encourage you to read Theragathas and Therigathas, the inspired utterances of these enlightened monks and nuns. And some of them would just delight in the beautiful forest, the gullies and the caves and the sounds of the peacocks and the beautiful flowers. Little things, if it delights you, it's okay, you can draw in some energy. So get little habits like going for a hike, going for a walk, incorporate these things, and that is really very helpful because it is a holistic approach. It's not like, okay, I go on retreat, I get enlightened. I go home, I go back to my worldly affairs. It's not kind of like that, yeah? It's the whole thing. When you come to retreat, it is a bit more to, give you more opportunity for meditation to go deeper. But outside and here, the path doesn't ever stop. So in order to maintain that, it's that balance you need to find. Yeah, your quality of life is what matters the most, right? This is what we want. And our quality is in our mind and body. If our mind and body is well, we are having a high quality life. Doesn't matter how much money, how big your house, what kind of car you drive, that is not the quality. Yeah, the quality is in our heart, in our mind, in our body. So look after that. Do what you need in order to feel that. And this is for individuals to decide, but work on it because joy is necessary. That is a necessary fuel. Yeah, so that is why there is generosity. So be very creative. Creativity is another very nice thing. Yeah, being creative is very opens your mind into, and be creative in generous ways. How can you use your creativity to do something kind, to do something generous? So that way you build up double energy. Yeah, the creativity also sort of gives some kind of energy. Not too excited, but that generosity or kindness also give the right kind of energy so that it is easier to meditate, easier to do the right thing. Because when we are grumpy, the wrong kind of word comes out, you can't help it. Yeah, this is the nature of things. So take care of that. If you feel that, then see what can I do. We will become grumpy, we will become tired, it's unavoidable. But try and see what things makes me more like this and see whether do I need to do it or can I do it differently or what can I do soon after I have to do this thing that I have to do which makes me tired or grumpy, and see how can I recuperate my energy because this is necessary. Otherwise, at the cost of these unskillful ways of doing things, in the sense, work or chores, we also end up creating a lot of bad karma ourselves by wrong speech, wrong action. It is really easy to break up a beautiful relationship, a friendship, any kind, of anything, yeah? How hard is it to make it up? How much time, how much money, how much, everything that goes in once the trust is broken. It's really hard. But it is easy when you are grumpy to say the wrong thing, do the wrong thing. And so that is why this is so important, because the suffering, our immediate suffering in our life isn't coming even from your health. It is not even coming your financial problems or problems like that, but our immediate interactions, interpersonal relationships cause the most of our suffering. So if we want something good, we also need to try and be the person we want other people to be, So we have to take care of ourselves. And every time we do the wrong thing or something happens, also don't beat ourselves up. It's not personal failure or something really inherently wrong. It's just the wrong causes and conditions. So taking care of that is really important. So ask the question, what do you really need? What do you really want? What's the difference between these two things? What are your needs? What are your wants? What are your needs? Number one? What? Food and drink, okay. Second? Sleep is not a thing you get. I'm asking material things. Shelter, yes. Third one? Okay. Yeah, safety means you need a lodging, yeah? So shelter is safety. You need clothing, right? You can't be naked, especially when it's too cold. So you need clothing. And the fourth one is medicine. Actually, these are your needs. Everything else, I'm not talking about emotional things, but sometimes people say love. You need love, not the material things that you need to spend money on, is just these four things, yeah? So, but do you need to work really hard, have lots of money to get these four things? Do you need a huge, big house to be safe and comfortable? Do you need really expensive food? Really expensive clothing? Good quality medicine may be fair enough, but that's it, isn't it? You don't need. But why are you running so fast? Like they say, rat race. Yeah, why is this? Why is this? Because of our wants. We've been so gullible. People tell, if you have this, you'll be happy. Get that, you'll be happy. Go there, you'll be happy. Do this, you'll be happy. So you buy into it and you run. Running and running and running. Never really finding satisfaction completely. Just try and stop. This is what you did, right? When you stop, that is when you find happiness. Learn to stop more. Even in your busy life. Nobody knows, even if you are in the middle of your board meeting. Just close your eyes. They might think you're contemplating deeply or listening deeply, but you can, yeah? Stop for a minute. You wouldn't have missed anything. People repeat themselves 10 million times anyway. You'll soon catch up. So you can learn to stop. Because small things, right? Stopping the momentum is really important. See during the day, how many times can you just stop? Stop completely. Yeah, just stop. Sit down somewhere, just stop. It's beautiful to learn to stop and then see how you can extend that for another minute or two. Yeah, this way it builds up a lot, breaks up your mad momentum, but also inspire you to stop more. So these are small things, but the mind learns very quickly. So very practical, simple things. Another thing that I tell, because people say, we don't have time. I mean, you took all your leave to arrange this, spend lots of money to get here maybe, all these people who came from overseas or interstate. But, in your busy life, you say you have no time for meditation. What happens when your friend gives you a call? Half an hour, 45 minutes? Did you allocate that schedule? No, you always find time for things that you think is important, right? So if meditation is important, you will always have time. It's about prioritizing. So reprioritize your life. Find out what are the things that are most important. If you die tonight, what can you really take with you? Yeah? So that sort of shows you what are the important things. So do those things as a priority, and the other things later. You will manage to get most of these things done. But when you know your wants and needs, a lot of your busyness should die down. Because you don't have to chase after all of those things. You don't have to do all of those things in order to be happy. You already know in order to be happy, we just need to only stop. So therefore, when you think about this, this is how you really apply that right view to your day-to-day life, right here, right now. And then it grows into the much more profound states, much easier. And you're going to be able to do it. Otherwise, it is well and good for us to learn some very inspiring things, but then you will feel big struggle. Oh, I can't even do the small thing of like taking care of my good speech. I feel so bad. You feel like that. So in order to not to do that, put in the right courses, and that will go a long way, changing your whole mind and body in the right kind of way. So this is the simple kind of thing I want to say, and see how in your day-to-day life you can add your practice. I will give you 1 or 2 examples, then you can see the same pattern, how you can do it to your life. For example, everybody here usually has a shower every day? I hope so. Some people here I know don't have showers sometimes, but anyway, never mind. Whenever you are having a shower, that's a good time to remember to take care of yourself. Right? Shower is a very pleasurable experience. Like, you have nice sensations. So you can, instead of thinking about the problems and this and that and what you're going to cook for dinner, leave that aside. Just see whether you can bring to present moment awareness. Last night we spoke about present moment is a delightful space to be. Right? So it doesn't have to be only in meditation. Even as you're having a shower, you can just cut everything else, let everything else to fade. Use that having a shower as a breaking point, right? From leaving your busyness, everything out, and here, and becoming aware of the present. If you want to add a little bit more flavor, as you're putting soap onto your body, you can give a little massage and say thank you to your body, gratitude to your body. It is necessary. This is this idea of caring. That is when you can care for others really well. So, so little things. So this is just one example. And coming from work, if you can walk or cycle, that's great, and you can use that time to break momentum and become present. So like that, there are many times, if you're having a cup of tea, just learn how to just have the cup of tea. One time I had this really beautiful experience. Ajahn Brahm came to the monastery for a bhikkhuni ordination. This was our first one when we built the new complex. It was a grand bhikkhuni ordination with dual sangha present. So there was a large number of monks and nuns, and now there were lots of people waiting in the hall. So we were going to go in a procession and enter the whole thing like in, grand entrance. So we were all gathered in the dining hall, the monastics. And Ajahn Brahm was there. Now we had a time to do this. So now the time have gone past, but Ajahn Brahm is sitting there sipping a cup of tea as if there's nothing else happening in the world. There's all these people waiting eagerly to get going, and all these people waiting for the ceremony to start. He is like completely, I just had this very clear view. He was looking through the glass windows into the forest, beautiful view at the dining hall, and really slowly, no rush whatsoever, drinking his cup of tea. And And I think at that time, I feel he was also rejoicing because he's put in a lot of effort to give rice to bhikkhunis and to even do the project in Dhammasara, a lot of things. So he was really rejoicing and just being there, chillaxing, allowing all of that to seep in, not rushed at all. A kind of beautiful. I was really impatient. I don't know. I was still with the momentum of having done the building project. I was the project manager, so I was into getting things done, get going, doing, all of these. So I was still in that momentum. So I actually approached and said, Ajahn, it's sad. I said, you do not disturb an Englishman when he's having his cup of tea. He told me this. And he went back into drinking his cup of tea. And in a corner, I watched him. And that is when I really realized what is chillaxing and how important it is. So a couple of minutes late, no big deal. It's more important that you're more relaxed so you can perform better. If you rushed through it, what are you rushing into and rushing out of? Yeah, it's much better that you're chillaxed and nice. But I had a really beautiful moment. These are the things you can't, words don't do it. You have to see. Like what I got from him by just seeing him drinking this cup of tea in a very chillaxed nature was a teaching that went inside, which cannot be communicated by words. Right? So next opportunity when you're around Ajahn Brahm, somebody like this, watch and see there's much to be learned and taken in, not with words, but by their actions. So these are very few things. So a motivation to see how you can figure out to add more small little habits to change the ways and head you in the right direction. Yeah, so that's all I have to add.
Good. No, that's great. Thank you for being so practical. Not too highfalutin, but kind of down to earth. That's actually very, very helpful. So now we have a special ceremony. I have got bad news for your mum because she cannot take the panda with her. She has to give up her panda bear. You know that? Can you please tell her that she has to give it up? You have to tell her. Whether she will be very sad. Yeah. Is this one? Oh, it's not the panda bear. It's the wrong one. Okay, sorry. Okay. She has. And is that her panda bear already? No, she hasn't. Okay, so she can take away one. Okay. You want to bring it up? Bring it up. We have special ceremony. So this is the ceremony coming now. So you can give this to Venerable Karunika. We have a special. So.
We stole it from her.
This morning. So we have very good news for your mum. Even though we're taking away her panda bear, she's getting another one. So yeah. So you're going to be offered by a bhikkhuni, even especially very auspicious kind of opportunity.
And you have lots of nice meditation.
Very good. Very happy. Okay. Very good. So now when you excellent.
It's okay. Yeah. Okay.
Great. Okay. So that's wonderful. So this is nice. You have a memento from a thing to remember the retreat by. Yeah. So whenever she goes back, she can remember the retreat. And she brings out the panda bear. That's what marvelous. Okay. So everyone, we're coming towards the very end. So before we come to the very end, I'd just like to thank everyone for being such good retreatants. From my point of view, it's been really, really nice and always delightful to be in the presence of people who practice the spiritual path so seriously and with integrity. First and foremost, my thanks goes to Venerable Karunika for joining me in doing this. We have never really done anything quite like this before with one nun and one monk. But I personally think it has been really nice and worked really, really well. And I didn't get into any arguments even with Venerable Karunika. That's amazing. Yeah. We can both be quite strong personalities. So sometimes it kind of, wow, you get two tigers on the same hill, you know what it's like, as the old saying goes. But actually we seem to be working together in harmony and things. That's a wonderful thing. Yeah. So that's great, and also thank you to all the people who have supported us, especially Lei Har, who is always kind of one of the drivers behind this. She pretty much runs the Buddhist Society. She has been running Jhana Growth, stepping back a little bit, but I think she's still kind of instrumental in getting everything going. So thank you so much, Lei Har. That's great. And then all the other people who run Buddha Society or run Jhana Grove, like Norlia, who's been looking after all the food, to our wonderful caretakers over here, Christina and Angus. And Christina has now been a caretaker for how many years? How many years is it, Lei Har?
16.
Not since the beginning. 7 years maybe? Yeah. So a long time. So she has really been kind of hanging in there and doing a lot of really good work, and I'm really impressed with her, I must say. Where is she? I want her to hear this. Anyway, this is a recording. It can be passed on later on. Mm-hmm. But she's a little bit shy perhaps, but she's a really good caretaker and really kind of hard-working and always does whatever needs to be required. And it's kind of extraordinary. And Angus is now coming on board slowly. They have been started more recently in their job, doing a really good job. And then thank you to, I don't even know exactly who is kind of helping you, Lei Har, but anyone who has been helping, and people often help behind the scenes, and often that's the beautiful way. Of course, Burr is here. She's one of the kind of the old-timers who've been running Jhana Grove for a long time. And sometimes the people behind the scenes, who do things quietly, and what a wonderful thing that is, just to support quietly without anyone even knowing who you are sometimes. That's a wonderful way of being supportive. You don't really, sometimes that's the best kind of merit, when no one knows what's going on. Of course, for me personally, Ajahn Brahm is kind of the outstanding person who kind of stands behind all of this. You could say behind Ajahn Brahm again, the Buddha and whatever, so you can always go back. But more immediately, Ajahn Brahm, who has had the vision and the abilities and the energy and everything to kind of do all of this and to basically. He's kind of is Mr. Buddha Society WA, that's Ajahn Brahm, or maybe Venerable Buddha Society is a better way of putting it. And thank you for everyone for coming here. Thank you for being part of this. Thank you for being such good sports and doing this in a wonderful way. So please come again in the future, or don't come again. If you don't want to come again, that's also fine. Either way is equally okay. Especially if you're enlightened, no need to. Should you come again? No, not come again. They can become a teacher. They can sit up here.
Yes, of course. We can have holiday.
They have a holiday. Yeah. So that is really all. So Lei Har, is there anything else that needs to be said? Or
I've been trying to coach these retreatants to do like 3 loud sadhus, and I think I wasn't very successful. So we're going to give it one last try. So 3 loud sadhus.
Yeah.
The 2 teachers.
We will help out. Yeah. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Great. Okay, and let's just finish off, as is appropriate, paying homage to the triple Jhana.
Patipanno bhagavato savaka sangho sangham namami.
mention as well, since Ajahn said that there are some people who are like working behind the scene. One such person happened to be here on this retreat, Shiromi. She actually does converting of the recordings into podcasts and YouTube so that you guys can actually watch it online. So Shiromi,
Okay. Bye-bye, everyone. See you next time.
Well, Ajahn, thank you, Ajahn, and thank you for the blessing, and ask for forgiveness for body, speech, and mind.
Always the nice people who ask for forgiveness, you know.
Thank you.
Nice to have you here, Mark.
Quick question.
I'm already. No, it's all okay. It's okay.
Okay, very good. Thank you for coming. I forgot to thank you specifically, but anyway, yeah, it's always wonderful to have some monastics here. So thank you for being part of this. It's great. Yeah. Okay, so I forgive you, and I'm the one who's been doing most of the speaking, so it's probably much more I should really ask for forgiveness, so please forgive me for any dodgy things I have said for this retreat. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Very good. Yeah.
Going up. Well done, okay. Yeah, we forgive you and please forgive me as well. Thank you for being such good companions.
Hello, Vitali. Hello. This is your wife? Yeah. Okay. Anna is Anna. Anna. Okay. Very good. Yeah. Nice to meet you. Yeah. Great.
You're
Glad
the
you enjoyed it. Yeah. That's great.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, great.
So you're both from Ukraine originally?